We're going to learn about forms and value. Forms are things that are three-dimensional. A painting or drawing is two-dimensional. A sculpture is three-dimensional. We can make drawings look three-dimensional by adding some shadows and adding the sides that are moving away from us, like on these forms that I've drawn here. The first one I drew was a cube, and then I drew a rectangular prism. Can you see the sides of the boxes that are going away from you? This is how you draw a cylinder. A cylinder would be like a cup or a Coke can. And here's a cone. And let's practice one more, a pyramid. Let's practice creating values. Value is how light or dark something looks. That would be the shadows on a form. You guys will need to make 3 different shadows. A dark shadow, a medium shadow, and a lighter shadow for a cube and a rectangular prism. For the cylinder and cone, you only need to do 2 values. Okay, this is going to be your final copy. On this drawing, you can twist and turn your paper and draw the forms all over the page. You can draw big, they can be between each other, they can be sideways and upside down. They can even go behind each other. After you draw lots of big forms, then we're going to color them. See, that rectangular prism is sort of behind the pyramid. Now we're going to color them using colored pencil. So when you choose your colors, choose them in pairs. A dark value of a color and a light value of a color. Then begin coloring. So this cube has a dark side. That would be the side that's away from the light. A medium side. So I'm going to use the light value for the medium side. I'm also going to use the light value to color the top of the cube. But when I color the top of it, I will make it the lightest part. So I won't push very hard at all. I'll just very, very lightly color. I'm going to do this with all the other colors on all the other boxes. A dark side for the green rectangular prism. A medium side for the green rectangular prism using the lighter green. And then I will use the lighter green again to color the top. Here you can see I've got most of my forms colored in. Notice how the pyramid only has 2 values of pink, and the cylinder only has 2 values of yellow. Now clean up your colored pencils, and you're going to receive some black strips of paper, some scissors, and some glue, and we're going to make a 3D paper sculpture on top of our drawing. There are many different styles of paper sculpture and techniques. This would be a roll. It's just like it sounds, a rolled up and glued together piece of paper. To make a roll stay, a lot of times you'll have to hold it in your hand for several minutes while the glue sets. So put some glue and roll. Press the seam, or where the papers meet, and then hold it in your hand for a few minutes time. After the papers stuck together, make a puddle of glue where you would like to stand the roll. Of course, you could also lay it down, but I would like to stand mine up. So I made a puddle of glue, and I just stood the roll up right in the puddle. Now I'm going to make several other kinds of paper forms. This one I rolled around a pencil. Now I'm going to let it go, and you can see it looks pretty similar to the roll right now. But if I stretch it out, it's springy, and it looks a lot like a spiral. These can be glued down any way that you want. I'm going to glue it on its side. Now I'm doing an accordion fold. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, like you would fold a fan. These can also be glued down in several ways. I'm going to glue it down by its feet, or the end bend of the paper. Now I'm going to do a technique called feather. You can see why it looks like a feather. I'm just cutting slices. This sometimes is also called a fringe. I'm going to cut this fringed paper into pieces and glue it on top of my accordion. Now I'm going to make a spiral. I start with a circle and I just cut around the edge and around and around and around until it gets to be so tiny I can't cut anymore. Watch out for your fingers at the end. You could glue a spiral flat on the paper, or you could flip it over and balance it on top of something else, like my roll. I'm going to make a bridged form now. To make the bridge, you just fold tiny little pieces of the end of the strip of paper. And then you fold it into a shape. Here I just folded it into a rectangular shape. Put glue on the feet and then stand it up where you would like it. I'm going to make another bridge, but this time it's going to be a triangle shape. Fold the feet. That's where the glue goes. Now I'm going to make a square spiral. To do this, you just start with a square instead of a circle. I'm cutting around and around and around the square until it gets small, just like I did the circle shape. I'm going to glue this one flat down on the paper, but first I'm going to stretch it out a little bit. And I'm only going to put glue on the bottom edge. This is how you make a paper curl. It's similar to the roll that I did earlier, but this time I just pull the paper under the pencil, much like you would do gift wrap ribbon. These always remind me of roller coaster loops. It looks crowded there. I think I'll put it at the top. I folded little feet, just like for the bridge. That way it has some surface that can stick with glue. I'm going to do another paper roll, but this time I'm rolling a piece of torn paper. I want to glue it so the torn paper is facing up. It looks a little interesting that way. Make a puddle of glue. Sometimes it's a good idea to kind of swirl it around in the glue a little bit. With the other half of the torn paper, I'm folding a foot all the way down the edge of the paper. I'm just folding a little tiny bit of it. That'll make it stand up. Add the glue and stand it up. I'm going to lay some scraps here because I feel like they look very interesting. Now I'm going to do another accordion fold, but this time I'm folding some of it really wide and some of it really skinny. I'm going to balance this on top of the roll that I did earlier. My paper sculpture is complete.